Welcome to the Hollywood Raw podcast. My name is Adam Glyn, over there as Dax Holt. On today's episode, we kind of turn the tables a little bit. You know, about 2 weeks ago, Dax interviewed me. He said we had a guest on. I was like, okay, who's the guest? I thought we were going to have, I don't know, Dan Cortez from MTV Sports. I thought we were going to have Michael J. Fox. I don't know who we're going to have. He kept it very broad, and I was like, who could it be? I thought we were going to have Amari on because he was supposed to come on. But instead, he was like, yeah, you're the guest. I want to ask you some questions. So today, I'm talking to Dax. I get all into Dax's dirt. We talk about the biggest celebrity in his phone. I ask about the stories that he regrets not doing. I ask him about sources, about how he broke some of his stories. I mean, I asked Dax what advice he would give to other celebrities, because he's been on the PR and news, entertainment news side. What advice would give to people who are becoming celebrity today? Does he think shows like Entertainment Tonight, Access, and Extra will keep coming out with new episodes? Or are they going to just go out like the Wild Wild West and just retire? But I don't know. We get all into that with Dax. I'm excited to talk to you. How are you, bud?
I'm doing good. I can't complain. I had a nice weekend. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. I told you to watch Hunter's Wives. You watched it, right?
Mm-hmm. I am in the middle of it. I think I'm on episode 4, maybe?
Okay.
4 or 5.
Are you enjoying it?
I am enjoying it. Okay. I enjoy the show. There's obviously a lot of nudity. We're not going to be shy about that. The only thing I would say is every once in a while, I feel like I'm watching a bit of a soap opera, because like they cut it weird and the music is weird and the acting gets a little funky, and then it goes back to like being a normal show. So I'm like, why did they do that? Why did they make it feel campy and soap opera-y and then go back to it being like a normal show? I don't understand that part. But it is a very good whodunit, and the way that they've set it up and how like so many people are intertwined with each other that like no one wants stories to come out because that screws up their story. So far, I've been very entertained. But like I said, I'm only on like episode 4 or 5 right now, so I got a lot more to go. But thank you for the recommendation.
All right. That's why I feel good. I feel good if I recommend someone a show and they're enjoying it. If you guys have shows you want to recommend, please let me know. Let us know in our private Facebook group, Off the Record. We all talk to each other. Let us know what you guys are watching. But please, make sure it's good. Don't give me something that's like, okay. Make sure it's like, you have to watch this, because I'm not into sci-fi. I don't want to waste my time. Time is very sensitive.
Dude, there's some good sci-fi shows you're missing.
I'm not a sci-fi guy. You know, I have to.
Silo was a good one. I loved it.
I hated it. Did not like it. Fell asleep. It wasn't for me. But you know, today's episode, like I said, we talked to Dax about social media and how it's changed entertainment news and stories he regrets passing on, and basically about it's everything that I kind of want to ask Dax for a while without getting. Actually, I want to ask questions that I could kind of get advice out of. So. But I'm sort of winging it as well. Dax is good. I'm just sort of, I don't know. I got some good stuff for you though, Dax. I think I just thought of it in the last 5 minutes. Before we get to today's episode, we have a review ready for you. Right? Don't we have a review ready for us?
Yeah, we got a big. This one is a long one. I pulled it up. I said, oh boy, this one is testing my reading abilities.
Okay.
So this one comes from M420. It says, "An inside scoop" is the title. 5 stars. Hey, Adam and Dax, longtime listener, first-time reviewer, love the podcast, and I love the different guests and the different opinions you have. As someone who has disagreed with you guys often, I love hearing a different perspective than my own. And as a Midwest woman who's obsessed with blind items, your podcast is the perfect flip side, where instead of secret gossip, it's the gossip right in front of our faces, or the gossip right in front of Adam's face or camera. And at anyone who gave a bad review because of something controversial, if you have to stop listening to someone because you disagree with their opinion, you might as well cut off your ears. P.S. I love how hilarious Dax finds Adam to be. Find you a man that looks at you the way Dax looks at Adam after he says something funny. Adam does make me laugh. But Adam's also a stand-up comedian, so he's a pretty funny dude.
Yeah, well...
But that's why I look at you with these glossy little eyes, Adam.
I appreciate those. Keep those eyes looking at me, Dax. And thank you for the review. It's the best thing to do sports podcast.
Yes, thank you, M420.
And I appreciate kind of speaking up and just taking the time to give us a review. So Shout out to you.
Guys, if you want to go ahead and leave us a review, please head on over to Apple Podcasts. You can go to our show page, scroll down to the bottom, and leave us a 5-star review, some kind words, anything you want, just so we can read it out here on air. You could even say, Adam's got a small wiener. As long as you leave 5 stars, I will read it out loud.
And I
listen. So that's it.
You're spitting facts, so I don't mind. Listen, we're not on this talk. We're not on a show here. But keep the reviews coming. It's the best thing to support this podcast. All right, so Dax, a few weeks ago, I don't even know how long it was, you interviewed me, and I was not expecting it. And now this one, I was like, all right, you're expecting it because I said I was going to interview you. Now, here we are. Actually, it's funny. When you hit me up like 10 minutes before, like, all right, ready to record today's episode where you interview me? I was like, yeah, I lied. I didn't really look up questions or research you. But you know what it is, dude? For me, that's just what I'm so used to, is just winging it on the street.
I was gonna say, I'm like, this is your wheelhouse, bro. I have no doubt.
Yeah,
this is what you do for a living. I'm actually more nervous going into this podcast than you would be. Because I'm like, shit, this is what Adam does. Like, I'm gonna get screwed here.
But here's the thing: you had more organized questions. My questions are gonna be a little bit all over the place. So bear with me. Even it's so funny. Like, for example, like we had Teresa. Well, we didn't have Teresa. I was like a guest on Teresa's podcast, and we did a cross episode where she's on ours. And I just sort of kind of went in and I was like, screw it, I'm sort of taking. I kind of took it over. Just because, just what I do. And
a lot of people noticed it on TikTok.
Yeah,
there was. I saw there was this one girl, one woman. I don't know if she was a girl. This one woman who was talking about how you took over the entire interviewing process, not realizing that it was actually a co-episode, so it's not that weird. But I did see a lot of pickup. A lot of people were talking about that interview that you did with Teresa.
Yeah. All right. But today it's not about Teresa. It's about you, Dax. Again, my question is going to be very random, but bear with me. I'm going to start with this, right? Dax, your cell phone. Who's the biggest celebrity in your phone? Now, it's not like someone you need to call. Do you have someone random in your phone? Like, oh my God, like I have this number. I've never deleted it, but this is their number.
Well, I had Kim Kardashian's phone number for a long time.
Did it work?
Granted. Oh, yeah. We used to text all the time. Like, I've got old text messages back and forth between me and Kim. But she has long said, yeah, I've got... Can I hold it far away so you can't actually read the messages?
Yes.
That was from Kim a long time ago. But, yeah, that was probably the biggest number. I mean, I've got Seacrest and
so that number for like Seacrest still works?
I don't know. I don't really like chat with her. I used to. Again, I used to.
How did you
I don't
get
know
that
if
number?
it still works.
Did he give you the number, or did someone give it to you? How'd that go down?
Yeah, we had cross paths for something TMZ related. He knew that I was always massive super fan of Seacrest just because he had that career that I've always admired, and I just always looked up to him and really respected him.
He knew you liked him.
Yeah, because Harvey had always told him numerous times, that Dax here at the office, he always said that he wants to be you. I'm like, no, I don't want to be him. I just really admire his career. I think what he's done has been very impressive, and just respect him a lot. And then I ended up doing his show a couple times and worked with his production company after I left TMZ. So yeah, we had connected quite a few times. He got me a big interview at E after I left. So yeah, he's a good guy.
That's pretty cool. So you'd say Seacrest, Kim. I would assume that's not Kim's real phone. Like I'll tell you about 2 celebrities' numbers I had. I had Shaq being one of them, and Pete Davidson being one of them. And
yeah,
it's almost like, what is your new number? It kept changing so much. It was like if I show you how many numbers I have for Pete, it's like, come on, and I don't know how you live a life like that when you keep changing your number.
So what I think they do is I think they basically get like a Google number and forward it to their actual number. So like their family has the number that never changes. Everyone else has the Google number of the minute, and then if they have to change it, it gets leaked, it goes out onto the internet. That's when a celeb goes, okay, new Google number, and forward it over to my current one. That's what I think happens, at least. Okay. I've never had to worry about that in my life.
I had one celebrity, I'm not going to say their name. People are like, why don't you say their name? they had a operator for them. So you call them, and then they had someone who picked up and said hi, and then you'd be like, I'm calling for
an operator or like a secretary.
Secretary, operator, one of the same thing, like secretary or operator. And like it wasn't like press 1 to leave them a voice, like it was probably like a secretary assistant. I don't know what it was. To say hi, and then you'd be like, hey, is this blah blah blah? Like, yeah. Is they around? Like, oh, let me check. And then they would like kind of handle it for them. Like it just, but they weren't with the person. It was like it would go to some other
random
hub, then go to them, and they would get to choose if they take the call or not. I'm assuming.
Okay,
I'm assuming
that's kind of fun. I need an operator in my life.
Yeah,
stop all the spam calls from coming in.
Dax, my next question for you.
Yeah,
what was the initial goal for you in your career? Like, what did you want to be? Did you just want to work in the business? Were you trying to be a host? Like, what was the initial goal? And what happened to that goal?
When I was young?
Yes.
And in college or whatever?
Yes.
I wanted to do local news. I thought, because I went and did radio, TV, film, and I was doing all the broadcast classes, and we were doing local news and all this kind of, like, by local news, I mean like really local. But I wanted to be on the news, and I remember the first couple months I was working at TMZ. It was brand new. It was just the website. I remember going to Harvey and saying, hey, so I want to do local news. What do you suggest? And he was like, move to some podunk town and work your way back to LA. And it's just funny how now looking back, how different that is for my career, and how a lot of people, even in local news LA, were like, man, I wanted your job, Dax, and how I just kind of had a different route, I would say.
So at what point did that goal change or dream change? Like, did the dream change a little bit during, or were you like, hey, I'm kind of carving my own niche? Like, where did that...
I think I wanted to be on TV, and then it happened, and I didn't mean for it to happen. I always wanted to be something on television, and just with TMZ starting up and it being, nothing at the beginning to people starting to know what it was, and then all of a sudden it's a TV show, like it just kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't plan for it, and then next thing you know, I'm getting recognized in Bed Bath & Beyond, shopping around. It happened so quickly.
Yeah. What's weird for me is like I haven't had I don't know how many jobs people are supposed to have in their life. And somehow
they change careers 7 times on average.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I just heard it the other day. Don't ask me why I heard it, but I think it was my wife was saying to me, she goes, I read something that on average someone changes their career 7 times in a lifetime.
Interesting. I could probably see that, but I just really, even though changing careers, I wouldn't say I've changed careers, but I just haven't had a lot of jobs. Somehow I'm able to get by financially, and I struggled for a long time to get a job for a long time. And then my first job actually was by TMZ, was my first real job. And then I've had gigs since, but all the gigs sort of add up and able to kind of keep me afloat and stuff. So that's my thing.
I feel like you have 7 careers right now at this moment.
I probably do. But it's weird though, because you know what's so weird, Dax? With those different careers, I don't think of the other things as careers. I still think what I do because I have my income is made from different other things sort of fall in my lap, and I take advantage of it. However, my career is interviewing celebrities. That's what I think I do, even though somehow I have these other things that sort of help me out as far as paying the bills and stuff.
You're a publicist, you're a street journalist, you're like everything.
Yeah, it's very weird, man. I'm sort of, it's a harsh, honestly, the thing that gives me the most anxiety is when people ask me what I do for a living, because I'm like, you got 45 minutes? And then when I tell them what I do for 45 minutes, then they don't believe me. They think I'm lying. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, man. This is really weird.
What is the one thing that you is a go-to for you, just because you're like, I know someone's going to be like, oh, that's really cool. What is the phrase, the key phrase that you say?
I don't even know. I honestly try to feel them out, because I'll call myself a street journalist. I'm like, oh, okay. But they don't even know what that means. Or B, then I call them then I'll just say easy and say I'm a paparazzi. And then they'll just be like, then, they start so you stalk people? I'm like, it just gets into a very negative, dark thing. So it depends on who I'm talking to and how the conversation is going, to be honest with you. But Dax, it's not about me. I'm just sort of like opening up, like thinking about myself when I talk to you. You worked at Extra, correct?
Well, that was
the first gig.
That was my foot in the door.
So
that was my internship. Yes.
It was Extra, then TMZ?
Extra was when I was in college. I actually worked it for ESPN first when I was in like high school or early college, something like that. And then Extra was the one that during my senior year, I had to get an internship for radio, TV, film. And they were the only ones to call me back. They were the only ones to respond to me. And so that was where I got my first foot in the door.
So what was the culture like or different between TMZ and Extra?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, granted, I was there for like 6 months or whatever, right? And I was only there maybe once or twice a week. Can't even remember my schedule at this point. It felt much more relaxed. I think because news was almost kind of handed to them back then, like because they had such good relationships with all the publicists, and they were on the red carpets, and so it was like the news came to you. You were able to just go and talk to the celebrities and break news. And I don't know, that's what I felt like was different. Granted, there were other big stories that were breaking. I don't want to take that away from Extra by any means. But I would say TMZ came onto the scene and they stopped talking. Like, I don't want to say stop talking to publicists, but their main goal wasn't talking to publicists. It was just breaking news. And you reach out to a publicist to confirm or get more clarity or get a comment, whereas Extra was like, that was their bread and butter, right? You know, and so I even remember at the beginning thinking, wait, how are we not going to be talking to the celebs? How are we not going to be doing red carpet? Like, how are we going to compete in this industry? And I didn't realize the big picture that Harvey had for it until, you know, a year later when I was like, oh, I get it. Why he didn't want to just fit into the mold like every other show, because every other show was pretty much the same thing. You would watch Access or ET or not Entertainment Tonight, Access or Extra, and it was like kind of the same thing with a different angle throughout the whole news, you know? So we were the ones that you could tune into, and TMZ was unlike anything you'd ever really seen.
Yeah. So
did that answer your question?
No, it does. It does. So let me ask you this: you've been around for a long time. You've worked at two of the biggest entertainment news shows. You've been on the other side now. You kind of see the direction the world is going. Do you see? Well, how do you think social media is changing the way celebrity news is covered?
I would say social media, hands down, has killed celebrity news and entertainment journalism, hands down. Like this years ago, being in a newsroom, being in like the TMZ newsroom, it was all about your contacts and sources and people on the street taking photos, paparazzi taking photos and videos. Like that was the only way that you could get your hands on celebrity content. The second social media came out, I mean, it started with Twitter, but now the celebs had direct access to the masses. And so they could put out their opinions. They didn't have to give it to their publicist to then give it to an outlet to report on it, or, hey, these great photos of them on the beach. It didn't have to be only seen in a magazine or on a TV show. Now they can put it up on their Instagram themselves. They can put it in their feed. It killed all of these sites, and that's why you don't see the magazines anymore. That's why the websites and the blogs, they just don't have the power that they used to, because now it's in the hands of the celebs themselves, I would say.
Yes, but do you see shows like Extra lasting?
I think the one you're going to see probably stick around longest is just Entertainment Tonight, because it's been a staple for so long. I think that there is still a crowd that likes them. I don't know. I don't see how really TV in general sticks around. It's if you're not converting over to YouTube or to Instagram, I don't see any of them particularly lasting forever.
Well, do you when you go on social media, you know, you see a lot of these TikTok people talking celebrity news. Do you find them to be journalists, or do you find them just to be reporters, just trying to telling you what a story on Us Weekly said?
I wouldn't even
Like,
say
so
either of
is
those. I feel
entertainment
like
journalism
they're
dead?
bloggers.
But is entertainment journalism dead? Are we just all?
I don't think entertainment journalism is dead. I think it's oversaturated by all the TikTok investigators that are out there, and realizing that, there is an art form that is, calling and sourcing and double checking and confirming and all of these things that people don't do when they're behind their camera on TikTok. They spew it out as if it's actual factual information, whether or not they have really put in the calls. So no, I think TikTok will eventually kill entertainment journalism, or we'll get to the point where it's so bad that people now revert back to, wow, we actually do want someone who fact checks and knows what they're talking about. There may be that whiplash effect at some point.
Do celebrities ever secretly tip off stories to news outlets like the TMZs, the Extras, the Access Hollywoods?
Of course.
I know the answer to that, but I wanted to hear your answer.
I was going to say that's a very, I mean, I guess maybe in my opinion, it feels well known, but maybe it's not well known to the public. But yes, that happens all the time. And it's not necessarily that the celeb themselves is calling up, unless they really have a good connection or a good source at one of the outlets. But yeah, everyone wants to get a story out. Everyone wants publicity on stuff. Hey, you just donated $1 million to the Salvation Army. Okay, well, there's a reason that now there's a photographer there while they're dropping the check off. I mean, people want this publicity. It is worth it to them to tip off to keep their name relevant in between projects, is what it comes down to.
What I was going to do is my second part to that question was going to be, you've worked sort of as a marketing PR. You've done a little bit of that, but mostly you've done the journalist side for celebrities. If you saw someone who's about to become a star, a celebrity, what's the biggest piece of advice you'd give them coming from the other side?
Oh, that's good. I think the age-old, like, no publicity is bad publicity. I think I would say that to them. You believe that?
You believe?
I 100% believe that, because you look at someone like Spencer and Heidi and how brilliant they are and how they have worked the media and worked all of it in their favor for all these years. Like, I used to love covering them at TMZ. Like, every time they would do some dumbass photo shoot on the front of a boat or some Valentine setup, like I was like, this is so smart what they're doing. And they predated like the Kardashians and all of them on strumming up publicity and realizing like it's okay to be a villain. It's getting people to talk about you. And even if they're talking shitty on you, they're talking. And that same goes for YouTube and TikTok. Like, just getting people to talk about you is the number one thing, because they talk about you. You go into the algorithm, which means you strum up more views, which means you make more money at the end of the day. Like, some people have that down. And I would say, yes, publicity. I mean, unless obviously you're in Diddy's baby oil videos, maybe. But I would say, yeah, unless you're raping someone or some crazy shit, like, I would say publicity gets you a long way in this industry, which is wild.
You've broken a lot of big stories, the Michael Jackson death and so much more. Is there any stories you regret breaking just because you maybe didn't feel like a good person doing?
Good question too. I guess at the time, I never felt bad breaking stories because it was just news. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was either us going to break the story or someone else that was going to break this story. So I guess I never really thought of it like, do I feel bad? I know that there's definitely been a couple stories that maybe at the end of the day, like, I think it was more photos, because my job at TMZ was to go through all the paparazzi photos and put out whatever I thought was really interesting. And so, like, I remember putting up the photo of like Nicole Richie running down the beach. Do you remember that famous photo of her running, and she looks very skinny because of the way she's running. It was a huge story back then. But I think maybe my commentary on stuff back then, I kind of look back and cringe a little bit, like, damn, I was making fun of people for a little bit. Maybe that wasn't the kindest thing, because I don't like being made fun of. And I would say that would probably be not so much the breaking of stories, but photos in general, and maybe what my commentary on the show was. When at the beginning, I was kind of mean to people, and then I kind of changed my tune. And I changed my tune because of Kim Kardashian. I told you this story, though, right?
Yeah, but you should remind the audience who didn't listen.
So Kim Kardashian is honestly the reason that, like, I became the nice guy on TMZ, because at the beginning, when the show first launched, I was saying wild shit, talking crap on everyone. That's what was like done back then with Perez Hilton. It was like you rag on celebs, and that was the funny thing, and like everyone got laughs on it. And then I remember one day Kim had come by TMZ, and Harvey was introducing her to people, and he introduced her to me, and he's like, "Oh, this is Dax. He's the mean one." And I was like, holy fucking shit. Like, I just got introduced as the mean one to Kim Kardashian. I'm like, fuck. And from that day forward, I was like, I will not be mean anymore. I'm going to be creative. I need to be funny, not just mean and rude. I mean, literally the first thing I ever said on national TV was that Chris Angel was a douchebag. That was literally my first thing. So, like, I changed my my whole persona on the show, and I became the nice guy moving forward after that day. So thank you, Kim.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'll tell you what, Chris Angel, nice guy. I actually have his number. He's actually been pretty cool. I like Chris Angel, nice guy.
And I even dressed up like him for Halloween one year.
That's pretty cool. All right, so you went as looking like a manager from Hot Topic. That's pretty good. I actually have Chris Angel's number. I spoke with him a few times, and he's always been super nice. Invited me to the show. When I was in Super Bowl for the Vegas, I actually was going to go, but there was like so much going on. I was like, I was too exhausted to make the show. But I actually would have liked to go. If I ever go back to Vegas, I am going to hit him up and try.
I met him. The one other time that I met him was backstage at one of those like VH1. I can't even remember the name of the show. VH1 Rock Honors. And it was the time that he was kind of dating Cameron Diaz. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I do.
That was the time I got to meet her and him together backstage at this show. And there was a lot of cool people backstage at that. Robin Williams was at that show. There was a lot of cool people there.
Well,
anyway,
you've met a lot of cool people, but obviously you said at TMZ you started off kind of rough, but you went a little bit nicer. But you also were on the show, which can be controversial to some people. Have you ever got confronted by a celebrity?
No one was really mean.
No one ever ended up in your DMs or Twitter and said, "Hey, man."
Not really. I had a lot of people in my DMs saying nice things, not necessarily mean things. So,
well, not mean.
I had a
I'm
lot
saying
of
they were
celebs
just
reach
pissed off
out.
he did something, or
the only time I remember someone actively like looking annoyed was Janice Dickinson, and she literally ran the opposite way. We ran into each other at a pancake place in Los Angeles, and it was like right down the street from TMZ. And I remember going in, she took one look at me and like literally ran the other way. And I was like, oh damn, like this is the effect that I have on people. She was the only one that was kind of a negative vibe around her. But I would say for the most part, a lot of comedians were very kind and stopped and would like say thank you. Like I ran into Spade at Boa one night, and I think it was Boa or STK, and he came up and we had a lot of fun chatting. Everyone's been, honestly, most people were pretty nice, which sounds kind of crazy.
Yeah. I'm going backwards a little bit here. Do you regret passing on a story ever? Or did you ever pass on a story like, maybe I should have done that? I know that's a tough question to think of on the spot.
The only one I remember, because we kind of did everything. There wasn't much that we didn't do. You know what I'm saying? I would say the one famously I remember that we didn't do was Michael Phelps smoking out of the bong,
You
and that
did
like
cover
we
that.
kind of had passed on
Why?
that one, but that one has come out that TMZ passed on that one long before.
Yeah, but what was the
Um,
story? Why would they pass on that story? I mean, it's just
because it was right after the Olympics, I remember, and these photos came out of him smoking the bong, and I feel like how they were shot was questionable, who the owner was questionable, but also we're gonna jump through a lot of hoops to like kill this like Olympians like
moment.
whole thing. It just everything felt wrong about it, and we ended up just going, nope, never mind. Like we don't want to be a part of this, and backed off. And then someone else posted the photos, so like that is entertainment news. If you're not the one that's going to post it, someone else will. We made that decision, I remember, at the time, of like something doesn't feel right with it.
Yeah. Which celebrity do you think handles paparazzi celebrity culture the best, and which celebrity
Mm-hmm.
do you think handles it the worst?
So the best, I would say, there's a couple of them. I would say Brad Pitt. I think Jennifer Aniston does a very good job. I think Oprah does a very good job. I think Kim Kardashian does a really good job. I would say those are my top, that hands down, they are some of the most famous people on the planet.
And why do you think they? But
Recognized everywhere.
Why do you think they do a good job? Like define.
Because they understand this is their job. They truly get that this is what comes with their fame, their fortune. Everything that they do is like tied hand in hand with that. There's people that do a horrible job, and I'm gonna look like Alec Baldwin. Horrible, just dickhead all the time. Like you're super famous, but like you can't stand photographers. You don't want fans talking to you. Like you're just a dick. Woody Harrelson's always famously been a dick to both photographers and kind of anyone. So I would say those are probably my two biggest ones that you're just like, oh God, who else am I thinking? There was someone else. John Lovitz. He was always kind of that was one person that I remember running into that just visibly looked like green because he saw me.
Yeah.
And
I don't understand
I
why
was like,
John Lovitz
dude,
hates it so much. I went to
I
dinner with
don't
him one
know.
time,
He
and I
hates
just knew not to
TMZ
say
so
anything.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say I really respect, I think, like Kim and Oprah and Brad and Angie, just because they know how to work a room, how to work a situation, how to be kind and cordial to everyone.
What is the craziest way you've ever broken a story? Like some random way a tip came to you, like, whoa, this is like me and you both know. Even when we have a guest on the
Mhm.
podcast, like, oh, that's a story. Oh, that's good. That's gonna make news.
I broke so many stories. I just remember there was a time where like breaking stories was almost annoying to me because so many stories were coming to me from all different angles, and it was like I couldn't ever get a freaking break. When you work at TMZ and it's like you're working, but then there's no off switch. So you go home and you're like, you go to sit down to dinner and then you get a call and you're like, well, I can't ignore this because this is Charles Barkley getting arrested for DUI. So I have to go like take this call right now. Or, oh, hey, it's what, Macho Man just died. Okay, let me make a call. Like these are all stories that I broke while not even trying. It's like the calls were coming to me. I remember being it was like pre-Thanksgiving dinner or Thanksgiving dinner at my mom's house, and I got a call that Elon just smashed in Tiger's windows in his SUV and crashed into the tree, and they had all the photos, and so I had to stop my Thanksgiving dinner to go buy the photos of Tiger Woods' smashed up SUV. Like I just literally couldn't get away from it. All times of the day there was something happening.
You say you got a call about Elon smashing up Tiger's car. You say you got a call that Randy Savage, WWF wrestler, just died. Who are those people that call you and tip you off and let you know they died or got just hit them off?
Different different sources. I mean, I had sources everywhere. You know, it could be friends, it could be photographers, it could be anything. And everyone becomes a source when you're in entertainment news. That's how I kind of put it.
So
Everyone is a source because you never know, like, you know, like someone working in the newsroom got a call from a friend who was driving down the street when Mel Gibson got arrested. That person wasn't a normal tipster. It wasn't a normal, like, you know, someone who you would normally get a tip from. They just happened to see Mel Gibson getting arrested on the side of the road, and that turned into one of the biggest stories of all time.
yeah, well, actually, you know, I know too. When it comes to sources, we keep them very personal. You it's like one of the things for us. It's like one of our most trusted things. You never out your sources. Did you ever?
100%.
Did you ever have a? I mean, even for me and you don't even share sources because it's like that's our.
To this day, I still won't say the Michael Jackson source. To this day, like, I've had so many people ask, how did you confirm Michael Jackson's death? And granted, I was one of the like 3 confirmings, but I literally can't tell anyone. Like, I will keep those sources to myself forever.
Okay.
Sorry, what was the rest of your
But
question there? I apologize.
What was the shadiest source you've had? When I mean shadiest source, someone that was so close to this celebrity that if the celebrity knew that this person was hitting you up, it would be like game changer, life changer for them, or just in general, it would just create World War III. Like, was it ever someone's sister or brother selling them out?
Yeah, but I don't know about you. I felt like most of the time the celeb was in on it with that person.
You think so?
Like I felt like it was always the celeb, hey, needs this information out, but they don't want to be the person to call. So they have the other person call for them, you know? I know that I'm trying to think. I know that I've had to call people after someone passed away. That was kind of shitty, and try to get a comment, and that was always awful and heart-wrenching and not fun.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, it's tough when you have the death stories because you don't want the people in their family to know from you rather than someone. It's so personal. I've had that fall on my hand. Like,
or just, hey, do you mind calling so-and-so because their husband or their wife just passed away, and can you get a comment? And I'm like, oh God, no, please don't make me do that.
Yeah.
Like that, I'm the last person they want to talk to right now.
Who is the most down-to-earth celebrity you've ever met?
Like big celeb?
Yeah.
I mean, I really enjoyed my 20 minutes with John Mayer. I just thought he was so freaking dope. And like he was at the height of his like fame and being covered on TMZ and running into him at one of the most popular restaurants in LA, Katsuya, but like he was dope. He came over and sat down and had drinks and talked and recognized us from the show and had a good time. And that to me, I just thought was so cool because most huge celebs like that may not take the moment or the time and wanted to hang out afterwards, and my dumb ass left. So I would say John Mayer. I don't know if that still rings true. I haven't really seen him do much for a while.
Last question for you, Dex Holt. If you could do your career a little bit different, what would be the biggest thing you would have done differently? If you had to redo it in your mind, what's something you would have done differently?
I think I just wish that I had the knowledge that I have today when I first started. I think that I would do differently. I think that I would take more notes. I would try to remember all the things that I have done throughout the years more. And I probably could have advanced more in my career, or I could have springboarded to something else faster. Like, I feel like I've had a very blessed career though. That's the thing that like, I'm very happy, and I look back and I'm fortunate, and It may not have been the most traditional path, but it's worked and it's got me to where I am. And I probably wouldn't have Trophy Smack without it today. And I wouldn't be doing all the things that I've done. I think that it gave me a really good platform to be on. And I met dope people. You're not one of them, though.
No,
but
I
I've met a lot of cool
I
people from TMZ.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be on that list. So thank you for not including me. I appreciate it. Dax, thank you for going through my ringer. And I thank you guys for watching at home, watching on YouTube. Make sure you guys like and subscribe right below. Again, it's a holiday week the next week, so you just want to kind of catch up with Dax. We're trying to wrap up summer in high spirits so we go start the fall kind of going strong, getting into it. Hollywood's, the world is a little entertainment business is sort of sleeping the next 2 weeks until Fashion Week really kicks off, until the VMAs start hitting. So I just wanted to catch up with Dax. I figured he interviewed me. I wanted to get some questions off my shoulders and talk to Dax. So Dax, thank you for taking the time with me today. Make sure you follow Dax at Dax Holt. Follow me at Adam Glyn. Follow our private Facebook group, Off the Record. Yes, and we'll see you guys next week or Friday.
Later.
What's up, guys? If you liked that video, there's plenty more that came from.
Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell so we can just feed you all the goodness daily.
Hurry up. Come on, let's go.